Hi everybody, welcome back to NorCal Slot Car Scene. In Northern California, we're looking forward to the Revoslot Western States Championship, a race for Revoslot GT2 cars as well as Revoslot Group 2 sedan cars. The Revoslot class has become very popular, and in GT2, the predominant car at this time seems to be the Marcos. And I've had great success with mine, with 3 wins in the last 3 races, including High Sierra Speedway, the commercial track Motown, where the actual Revoslot race is going to be held, as well as most recently at Glen Canyon Raceway. Today I'm going to go through what I've done to the Marcos to make it a race-winning car. First, let's take a look at the chassis. You want to take the chassis apart and make sure both chassis pieces are flat, and adjust as necessary. Most everything on my chassis is stock. The one thing I have changed, however, is the braid. I'm using NSR flat braid, along with the wood guide that comes included in the kit. When you have the guide installed in the chassis, make sure it's as tight as possible, but it's still free enough to spring back by using the lead wires. The other thing you need to do is take the wheels and tires off and make sure the axles are completely free without binding. When you've got them set properly, the front and rear axles should spin freely. Revoslot uses bearings instead of bushings, so there should be 0 lateral play in your axles. You can get things too tight, so make sure you have 0 play and the axle spins freely. In Northern California, we run both Revoslot classes with the stock motor and stock gear ratios. We do allow you to open the hole in the top of the motor for cooling and maintenance. Proper gear mesh on a Revoslot is key to making these cars fast and quiet. There's a link in the upper right that outlines my method of Revoslot gear break-in. As far as the hardware on the axle, I use a collar on the non-gear side. The main reason for the collar is it allows me to change tires without having to readjust the axle lateral play. I use a BRM collar because it has a shoulder on it that rides on the inner race of the bearing. The gear doesn't have a shoulder, so you definitely want to use a spacer between the gear and the bearing. Everybody knows that tires are the single most important part of making a slot car fast. First, let's take a look at the wheels. I'm using the lightweight Revoslot wheels. On most tracks, I'm using the narrow size. As far as tires go, my go-to compound is the stock tire, the 30 Shore from Revoslot. I did, however, use the wide G25 compound at Ted Essie's High Sierra Speedway. The front tires are trued to 19 millimeters and treated with nail polish to remove the grip. The rear tires are trued to about 19.5 to 19.7 millimeters. These tires just came off the track at 19.2 millimeters after 3 full races. There's not much we're allowed to do with the body. On the Marcos, Revoslot makes rubber wing supports that should be better in a crash, but we'll have to wait and see. Our rules require that you use the Revoslot body mounting boots. However, you can choose from different sizes. Since our tires are much shorter than stock, we have a bigger gap between the tire and the body. I'm going to try some of the optional rubber boots that will lower the body and hopefully improve the performance. Since we run these cars basically stock, there's not a lot of tuning you can really do. I have added a couple grams of weight right in front of the motor, and it seemed to help. Lately, I've been using tape to dampen the movement between the 2 chassis pieces. This definitely seems to smooth the car out. You can't set the front tire height on a Revoslot like you can with a more conventional car, but cutting the tires to the 19 millimeter diameter gave me the effect I was looking for. I want the front tires to lift at the same time as the guide, and when I hold the chassis flat, I want the tires to be able to have a little bit of movement. That's a quick overview of what I've done to my Revoslot Marcos GT2 to make it into a competitive race car. Thanks for watching NorCal Slot Car Scene. I hope you have good luck with your Revoslots and hope to see you at the Revoslot Western States Championships.